Rob Stone, Randy Pedersen back here live with you from Baltimore, Maryland. There's a live look at your 3 seed, Chris Barnes, Player of the Year in 07-08. Step ladder has been updated, and he will take on Brad Angelo, your 4 seed here in match number 2. Angelo winning over the Big Nasty, Wes Malott, 207-192. Chris adding a late ball to the rack. Angelo will start us off here in match number 2. The winner of this one to take on PDW, Pete Weber, your number 2 seed. So Angelo only had 5 strikes in match number 1. And only 1 pair. Gets a strike there. Time now for the introduction of Chris Barnes.
He is a 12-time winner on the PBA Tour, including 2 majors. A member of Team USA, former PBA Rookie and Player of the Year from Double Oak, Texas. Please welcome Chris Barnes.
We talked last match about the challenging season that Wes Malott had. Ditto really for Chris Barnes. 3 times a runner-up this season, 0 victories. The messenger sails in front of the tent.
And Rob, he's had 8 consecutive seasons of winning at least 1 title, so he still has today and the Japan Cup. He'd like to take care of that today, but I think that you and I both agreed yesterday in watching him on the Dick Weber oil pattern, that's probably the best we've seen him physically throw it all year.
He told us it's the best he's felt since last year's U.S. Open. And Chris Barnes lost to Mike Scroggins last year in the U.S. Open. Chris Barnes and Norm Duke were in the race for Player of the Year in the final event of the season at the U.S. Open. Mike Scroggins ended up being the spoiler, winning it all, giving the title to Wes Malott. Now one of these guys may step up and be the spoiler to Mike Scroggins' quest for Player of the Year later today.
Can't we all just get along?
Barnes goes spare strike.
Hey, he looks good. He looks comfortable. I think he really likes his ball reaction. Now it's all about just staying in the moment and relying on what his feel was like yesterday and just trying to continue that same theme.
Brad Angelo up, making his first TV appearance since November 30th of last season, where he finished 3rd. Strike for Angelo.
Hey, Brad, it's Randy. Hey, how much has the oil pattern changed from game 1 to now?
I don't know that it changed from the end of game 1 until now, but it certainly has changed from when we took the lanes before we came on the air. You know, as I said, I'm pretty much, I'm probably 2 left of where I started, but my hand position has changed quite a bit. I can't roll it to get it off my hand. I got to make sure I get it through that spot. So hopefully we'll do what I can here.
Thanks, Brad. And Rob, he's going with a little bit more of a spin release to get it to push through the front part of the lane. Remember that the more you roll the bowling ball end over end, the more it's going to read the lane surface. The more you spin it, the more it's going to scoot through that front part of the lane.
Three in a row for Angelo, and this tournament essentially concludes the PBA season. Yes, there's still the Japan Cup, but Player of the Year honors will be wrapped up. So we conclude one. We kick off another one tonight. Major League Baseball firing it up tonight. Yankees, Red Sox, live on ESPN2, 8 Eastern. Tonight, coverage begins with Baseball Tonight at 7 in the New York and Boston markets. ESPN News will be on. Both those teams trying to take care of the Tampa Bay Rays in the AL East, the team to beat if you ask this guy.
You say that with such conviction and this huge smile.
America's team, the Tampa Bay Rays, baby. As Barnes steps up, Bottom of the screen, you can see other finishers. Walter Ray Williams Jr. finishing 6th yesterday. Right through the nose was Barnes.
And how about Joe Ciccone? He needs a big week this week to secure an exempt spot. He was outside the number, and Joe steps up and finishes 10th. So congratulations to Joe Ciccone.
Terrible.
And this is real interesting to me, Rob. You hear Brad say that he has to kind of spin it a little bit more, change his release to get the ball to push through the front part of the lane. Chris Barnes, a notorious heavy hand, heavy rolling end over end guy. And so there's the mistake that you're going to see from Barnes when his ball reads too early. It's going through the nose. That was a great spare on the 3.69.10.
Chris, what are you seeing so far through 3 frames?
Well, compared to yesterday, they're a lot tighter down lane for me. So I'm struggling a little bit more to get the ball to face up. I've had to make some ball changes. You know, I got 4 shots, and I'm trying to get them lined up here, but the right lane's a little bit tricky for me.
Barnes on the left lane right now, where he struck in the 2nd.
And Rob, you heard him say that the right lane is tricky. Well, Barnes was a higher seed, so he gets choice of starting lane and position. He chooses to finish on the left lane for good reason. Nice shot there, light mixer. Right now, Chris Barnes, to have a chance in this match, he needs to figure out the right lane. Brad Angelo is locked and loaded on both lanes.
Angelo looking to open up match number 2 with a ham bone.
You didn't.
Sure did.
Please tell me you didn't. Boy, and I'll tell you what, for the right-handers, and I know how disappointed you are that he didn't get this 4th strike, but for the righties, it's going to be an issue with that right lane. And I think it's a huge advantage for Chris Barnes if he can stay close enough, because he is finishing on the left lane.
Angelo up 18, trying to take care of the 6-10. And misses the 10.
Well, every shot in bowling makes somebody happy. Right now, Chris Barnes feeling pretty good about getting right back into this match as Brad Angelo chops the 6 right off the 10.
Let's see how Angelo responds to that open frame as we begin the 5th of match number 2. The winner to take on 2 seed Pete Weber.
You know, I think Brad has a really good blueprint of what the lanes are doing. He has a game under his belt. He's a lot more relaxed because of that. And I think that he has a really good idea of what he needs to do. Now it's just a matter of execution.
3rd time today he's left that 4-pin.
Part of being a versatile player is being a good spare shooter. Even though he chopped the 6 off the 10, you won't see Brad Angelo do that very often, but very steady with the spares. Same for Chris Barnes and converting the 3.69.10 in the 3rd frame. Hey, we all know that they can throw a lot of strikes, but when you don't throw strikes out here, you better cover spares.
And here's Barnes on that right lane, which has been problematic for him so far. 9 spare, 6 spare. And gets a strike there in the 5th. Our thanks to Mark Dornberger, the general manager here at AMF Country Club Lanes. Again, the 4th consecutive season the PBA's been at this wonderful facility here in Baltimore. Great bowling community here in Maryland.
Remember when Chris said that they're a little tighter down the lane for him? Watch how subtle this back-end reaction is for him on this shot. Man, what a nice shot there, only to leave a ring in 10. But you see how smooth that transitional move is down the lane for him. So it's one thing just to get it to the break point. It's another to get the ball to behave properly. Just a little bit of a balance issue there, but still, this is a pretty good shot. I'd take 10 of those anytime and take my chances.
So Barnes remains clean through 5.5. The lead for your 3 seed is 3 pins, the winner to take on Pete Weber. When we return, a flashback to last week's memorable title match, plus the conclusion of Barnes versus Angelo. Although he's an amateur, Brian Zeisic played like a seasoned pro in the last weekend's Mark Roth Plastic Ball Championship. Both he and Jason Belmonte, huge in the 10th, forced a 1-ball roll-off. Belmo could only drop 9. Zeisic got all 10 to drop. The first time an amateur had won on the tour since 2002. And that one dubbed an instant classic by ESPN. Was shown again Monday evening on ESPN Classic. You know, Zeisic and company were there watching it. And he and I were exchanging texts in the middle of the rebroadcast as well. What a great match that was. I'm not sure I've had as much fun on the PBA circuit as I did watching that match.
Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest moments that I've ever been a part of, and you know, to happen to a guy like Brian Zeisic, it's just such a nice guy. It was tremendous. And
another point, and you and I were talking about yesterday, what a great show of class by Jason Belmonte. A wonderful performer, an anguishing defeat, yet he comes back, talks live on air to you, handled it so well with Zeisic's family as well. Just a good showing by both men. Here's Angelo, bottom of the 6th.
No chance.
Mm-hmm. No chance what?
Well, no chance to hit the right side of the head pin, but
a strike's a strike, baby.
Yeah, and you know what? You're bowling a guy like Chris Barnes, man. You throw a Brooklyn at him, and then you raise your arms. You know, all that does is it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. All you're going to do is really irritate Chris Barnes.
Come on, you really think that irritates Barnes?
Oh, trust me.
All right. I think he's got other issues on his mind right now, to be honest with you. And we'll talk about that in a second, what he was doing during the commercial break. Angelo looking for strike number 5. And gets it.
Hey, parlay's a nice break right there, but, you know, Rob, you talked about it. Chris Barnes on his last shot on the left lane came very close to fouling. Watch this. Boy, and that's about as close as you can get without having the red light go on. So what does he do? He changes sole and heel. This is the first shot that he's going to throw with a brand new combination. Remember, he got no practice shots when we were at break.
When's the last time you saw somebody do that?
I can't remember. I've seen, obviously, the players take the shoe brush there and kind of rough up the nap of the sole, but I've never seen them change sole and heel in the middle of a game. Obviously, this Barnes guy knows what he's doing.
Well, Chris, we just showed video of you making the shoe adjustment. What was the problem, and what did you solve?
What's that?
We just showed video of you making the shoe adjustment. What was the problem?
The approaches are just slicker today. It's about 15 degrees hotter, maybe 20 degrees hotter on the set, and the approaches have a little bit of humidity in the air. It's not there now, and so I just need a heel that stopped a little quicker.
And how did it work out for you? I know you got a strike, but I mean, did it feel good for you?
Yeah, so far so good. I didn't go Brooklyn. I guess it was all right.
Got to bring up the Brooklyn. Thanks, bud. You're right. I know, Randy. I know.
I can't believe you would question me.
I'm smarter than that. You're right.
Told you.
Here's Barnes in the 8th, looking for a pair.
And let me just say this. You know, Brad Angelo's not afraid to get in there and mix it up with you. He'll do it. But I told you, Chris Barnes, don't throw Brooklyn. Listen, you throw Brooklyn at Chris Barnes, you put your head down, you act like you're disgusted and embarrassed, and you move on. You certainly don't showboat and get in his grill.
He wasn't showboating and getting up in his grill. He put up his arms. He was excited. He got a big break. You're not allowed to do that?
Not when you throw a Brooklyn against your opponent. No.
All right. All right. That's the protocol according to you.
That's the protocol That's the PBA protocol, my friend.
All right. You know me. I'm all about taunting.
Now, just so you know, Brad didn't mean anything by it. He wasn't trying to rub it in his face. It was none of that.
Three strikes in a row for Angelo.
That wasn't a Brooklyn shot there.
Now. Boy, did I not just say that Brad's not afraid to mix it up?
The Italian coming out in Angelo. I like it. Little Italian stallion.
We got us a little game now.
Yeah. And it's not just a game on the lanes. It's a game between the ears as well.
I think the words were, that one ain't Brooklyn.
That was a hail bone, Angelo. And he is talking smack to Barnes. Takes a seat, does Angelo. And what does Chris have in store for him in the ninth? Barnes working on a pair as well.
Hey, can you blame him? Guy just got called out for his Brooklyn, and now he's giving it right back. You know, good for him. Now, Brad Angelo can strike out and shoot 256. The best Chris Barnes can do if he strikes out 249.
Let's see what Barnes has in store here, bottom of the ninth. No words exchanged. You know something's brewing inside of Barnes.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's just going to get up now and try to stuff 3 in the 10th and go, hey, try to match that. No Brooklyns, that doesn't count. He'll say something to try to get into Brad's dome. Also, he needs to keep the pressure on. Ball never recovered down the lane. You heard him say tighter and tighter, and it just never recovered down the lane. Leaves the 2-pin, and now he is in big trouble. He's only going to be in the 220s. Brad Angelo is already in the 230s. A mark here. Brad Angelo will just need a mark in the 10th frame, and Brad will move on to take on PDW, Pete Weber.
It's not often you see some verbal warfare here on television in the PBA. It happens maybe a little bit more muted. This one was pretty well out and in the open. And you know Pete Weber, who's coming up next, can play that game as well.
Without question. Tighter and tighter and tighter down the lane for Chris Barnes. And 9 is good because that forces Brad Angelo to mark. So any kind of mark and good count, Brad will move on. But I'll tell you what, I love the stuff back and forth between Brad and Chris. You know, these guys have a long history. They're friends, but you know what? In this environment, there is no friendship. Do what you got to do to win within reason. And then when it's all said and done, we can go back to being friends again.
7 strikes in match number 2 for Angelo, including 4 in the last 4 frames. Trying to drop a nickel here in the 10th. Big Yahtzee drop by Angelo.
Yeah, you got Brad kind of ticked off now. And
everybody's angry.
Yeah,
it's Easter Sunday. Come on, people, let's get along.
Look at the demeanors change. The eyebrows are going down. Brad's going over for, I don't know, another bowling ball. Yep, grabbing another bowling ball because this match is over. But here's the difference in ball reactions. Brad Angelo's speed's a little slower. He's got that tilt, more side roll, so he can get his ball to scoot the front and still finish really hard in the back part of the lane. Chris Barnes never had that luxury in this match.
The frustrations continue this season for Barnes. Angelo will move on with another strike. Angelo, your 4 seed. Up next, though, a guy who's really on a roll, Pete Weber.
Show, huh? Never before. Last show usually, never the first. By the way, hi, Leslie.
That was a live shot of Pete Weber, who's just about 10 feet away from Angelo right now, as Angelo throws his last one here in match number 2. Concludes with 7 strikes to close out this match. A feisty one, eventually won by Angelo, 256-227.